Hello all. In today's session, we will be learning about activity 3, which has logical and relational operators. So there is a database by name library. Under that we have two tables. The one is books, another one is issued. So in the books table, we have book ID, book name, author name, publisher, price, type, quantity. These are the attributes. So we'll start creating the books table first. Okay, so to create a book table, I have already, as I have taught you in the first session, how to create a table. Here I have already typed and I have kept a table. So create is a command to create a table. So I have typed create table books because table name is books, and after that I have mentioned the attributes. So book ID is the first attribute, which is of data type varchar and length 5, and I am considering book ID as primary key, and I have used not null constraints. I have spoken about primary key as well as constraints also in the previous session. The same thing applies here also. Then we have book name attribute, which is of data type character and length 20. Then we have author name, which is of data type char and length 15. After that, publisher attribute is there, whose data type is character and of length 10. Price data type is number, and length 3. After that we have another attribute type, whose data type is char of length 10. We have last attribute, that is quantity, of data type number and length 2. So after typing all this, okay, I'll just select the create statement and run. Okay, so we have created a table books. After creating the table, we'll insert one by one record. To insert the records, we use command insert into table name and then the values. So insert into table name is books, values are C001, it is the book ID, the clone and I is the book name. Then we have Lata Kapoor, who is the author, EPP is the publisher, then price is 355, and the type of the book is novel, and the quantity is 5. This is how I'll be inserting the records one after the other. I'll select the record and I'll insert. Okay, I inserted one row. The same way I'll insert another record. Okay, we'll select the next record and insert it. I'll be inserting the last record. Okay. I've inserted all the records to table books. Let us check whether the table is created or not by making use of a select command. Select. I want to see all the records, so I'll use star and I have to mention the table name, from which is the table name books. I'll use select star from books. I have created a table and all the records are inserted. Now after this, we'll go to create another table by name issued. Okay, we will create another table by name issued. So for that I have used create table issued. First, before creating, we'll see what are the attributes are there. So they have given a table issued. It has only two attributes. The one is book ID, another one is quantity issued. So create table issued. First, quantity issued is the attribute which is of data type number and length 4. After that we have another attribute, that is book ID, which is of data type varchar and length is 5. And I am treating this book ID in the issue table as a foreign key. Why? Because it is referring the book ID of books table, which is a primary key there. If a book ID is primary key in a books table, that will, the book ID in a issue table will become a foreign key. That is what I have mentioned here as foreign key book ID. Book ID is a foreign key which is referring a book ID of books table. On delete cascade, which I have explained you in almost all the sessions. The same thing you have to understand here also. Okay. Now I'll select and run. So we have created the table. Okay, after creating the table issued, we'll insert one by one record to the table. To insert the values, we use a command insert into table name, which is issued here, and the values. The first one is quantity issued, and then we have to insert the book ID. I'll insert one by one record to the table now. Okay. Okay, I'll go to the second record and I'll insert yes. Next, the next record. After that, another record. Okay, I'll insert the last record now. Okay, all records are inserted. Now we'll check whether my table is correctly created or not by making use of select command, select star from the table issued. From the table issued. I'll select this and run. Yes, my table is created, which is you can see down. Now we'll do one by one query. Okay. The first query is to show book name, author name and price of books of first publisher in publisher attribute. So what we'll do is we'll go to table books. So books name, author name, price as well as publisher. All the attributes are present in table books only. So for this query we need only one table, that is books. I'll show you how to do this. Select, what are the attributes you have to select? Select book name, comma, author name, comma, price. They've asked about the price. So all these information is present in which table? It is present in books table. And what is the condition they have given is the publisher should be first publication. The publisher should be first publication. So where publisher is equal to first publisher. Okay. So I'll run and see whether this query works or not. Yes, it is working. I'll explain you. How it works is, it goes to the table books. First it goes to the table books. In that it sees the attribute publisher. If the attribute publisher is first publications, then their book name, author name and price will be selected, or it will be listed, you can see. This is how your first query works. Now we'll go to the second query. Okay. The second query is display book ID, book name, publisher of books having quantity more than 8 and price less than 500. So we have to display book ID, book name and publisher along with the quantity and price. All this, see, book ID, book name, publisher, price and quantity. All these attributes are present in books table. So we can, for this query we can use only one table, that is books. So I'll tell you how to write it. Select, which are the attributes? Book ID, comma, book name, then we have to select the publisher, and these are all the attributes which are present in a table books. And what is the condition is where the quantity should be more than 8. So quantity more than 8 and price, and the price is less than 500. This is what they have given. So I have typed. First we'll check whether this works or not. I have selected and I'll run this. Yes, it is working. How this works, I'll explain you. Here, first what happens is, it goes to the table books. It goes to the table books. There it searches for the quantity. Quantity should be more than 8 and price should be less than 500. If both the condition matches, then their book ID, book name and publishers will be listed, as you can see in the result. See here, it goes to table books and sees the quantity should be greater than 8. Which are the books which is having quantity more than 8 is, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 books. Okay, but one more condition is price should be less than, the price should be less than how much they have asked? It's 500. The price should be less than 500. That is matched only to how many books? 1, 2. That you can see in the answer. Okay. See here, they have given, the question is that price should be less than 500 and the quantity should be greater than 8. Both the condition matches. That is the reason they have given this answer. Okay. The third query, they have asked you to select book ID, book name, author name of books which is published by other than ERP publishers and price between 300 and 700. The question is that you have to list book ID, book name and author name. Only the books which does not belong to ERP publishers. That means that the publishers other than ERP publishers, rest of the publishers details like book ID, book name and author name should be displayed. Along with that, one more condition they have given, that the price, if at all you are publishing their details, means the price also should match, that it should be between 300 to 700. So they have given two conditions. The one is that the publisher should not be ERP publishers and the price should not be, the price should be between 300 to 700. We'll do that and see how this works. I'll write and I'll then explain. Select, what are the things you have to select? Select book ID, then book name, then author name. Okay, these are the things which you have to select. All these informations are present in which table? Books table. And the next condition what they have given is, where the publisher should not be ERP publisher. The publisher should not be ERP publisher. For this, I'll introduce a new operator that is actually called as membership operator. We'll use membership operators. In membership operators, you will be dealing with two operators. The one is in operator, another one is a not in operator. In, if you use in operator, in operator, that indicates that this particular attribute or tuple belongs to this. Okay, if it is a member, then we have to use in operator. If that is, I don't want it to be a member, if that is not a member of that particular group or attribute, then we have to make use of a keyword called operator called as not in operator. So what they have asked is, I don't want ERP publisher, don't want. So that should not be a member, So I'll make use of not in operator, I'll show you. Publishers not in ERP. They should not be ERP. Okay, that is the first condition. After that, they have given that the price should be between how much? 300 and 700. If both the condition matches, then their details should be displayed. I'll run this and I'll explain you again. Yes, this works. So how this works is, it goes to the table books and first it goes to publisher attribute. Publisher attributes, in that publisher attributes, it checks for the books which are not ERP. The publisher should not be ERP. Along with that, it should match another condition. That condition says that the price should be between 300 and 700. Only if these two condition matches, their book ID, book name and author name should be listed, which you can see in the answer. If you go to table, you can see here, the publisher should not be ERP. One row T0001, it is excluded. You should not consider that. After that, they have given that, and the price should belong 300 to 700. So EPP comes, first publisher comes, and then comes this TDH. Three tuples you will get as an answer, which you have got here also. The same answers you have got here. So the query is working fine. Fourth query, they've asked you to generate a bill with book ID, book name, publisher, price, quantity, 4% VAT as total. So only thing is that whenever, I'll just explain you how this works. Whenever you purchase something, for example, in this only I'll take book. Okay, if I go to table here, I have a book. Okay, book is the TS. I'll go to the book TS. How many copies they have taken? 20 copies. How much is the price? 650. So what we should do is, first we should multiply the price 650 with the quantity 20. We'll multiply the price 650 with the quantity 20. After multiplication, we will apply VAT. We will apply VAT. How much percentage of VAT they have asked? 4% of VAT. And after that, whatever the value you get, you have to call it as total. Okay, I'll do that and I'll explain you how this works. Select the attributes book ID, comma, book name, publishers, price, quantity. Okay, then they have asked you to find out the VAT. So before finding the VAT, what we should do is price. Okay, price into quantity. Price into quantity. After I get this, for this we have to apply the VAT. How much is the VAT? 0.0%. Okay, so I'll close one more parenthesis here, and the result, whatever calculation I'll do, I'll name this attribute, new attribute, as total. Okay, and all the information is there in the books table. Okay, we'll run this and see. Yes, it is working properly. So I'll explain how this works. It goes to the table books. It is displaying book ID, book name, publisher, price, quantity, and new column total has come. How did I got the value for total is, first what I'll do, any book for that matter, take the price of that book, and how many books they have purchased will be given with the help of quantity. Price into quantity will give you the total amount. After that, they have asked you to apply 4% VAT, which I have applied, and after all this calculation, I'll call this column as total, which you can see in the result. Fifth query is display book details with book IDs C001, F001, T002, F002, and they have given hint, use in operator. You have to use in operator. Okay, na? So I'll just tell you right now, like before 2 or 3 queries, I had explained you there are 2 membership operators which you will be using. The one is in, another one is not in. When they are not the members, make use of not in operator, and if they are the members, make use of in operator, which they have mentioned here. Now what you have to do is, in the books table there are book ID, and whatever the IDs they have specified, if they are the members of that book, if they are, these book IDs are the members of this book table, then display their details they have asked you. To do that, I'll use select details, all the details. So I'll use star, and then what is the condition? The table is book. So from books, the condition is where book ID. Book ID should be what? They should be the members. They should be the members. Whichever the IDs I am specifying now are they should be the members of book ID of book table. In, what are the books? I will tell you now. C00, 1, then F 0, 0, 1, then D 0, 0, 2, F 0, 0, 0. This is the thing we have to do. Now I'll explain. I will run first and then I'll explain. How this works is, first it goes to table books. It goes to table books. There, the book ID, whichever is there, C001, F001, T001, sorry, T002, F002. All these book IDs are there in the book ID of books table. If they are there in the book ID of book table, then their details we are displaying. See here, all these, if you go to table here, you can see C001, F001, T002, F002. All they are the members of book table. All these book IDs are the members of book table. That is the reason we are displaying the details of those book IDs. Here I have used in operator, in membership operator, to show that these book IDs, whichever we have mentioned here, they are the members of, these book IDs are the members of books table. Sixth query, display book list other than type, novel and fiction. Okay, see here, when you go to table, you can see the type of the books, you can see novel is there, fiction, text, fiction. The question is that you should not give the details of the type which are novel and fiction. In the sense, it says that only give the details of the books those who are not novel and fiction. To do this, I'll write the query. Select all details. So I'll use star. If I have to use all details, I'll use star. And then they are the from which this one table from, they are from books table. And what is the query? Condition where type should not be fiction and novel. They should not be fiction and novel. So I'll write novel, comma, fiction. I'll run this and try. I select and I'll try whether this works or not. Yes, see here, you can see only two types it is displaying, which are not novel and fiction. Those are text. See, when I go to table, you can see novel, fiction, text, fiction. But my question is, you should not show the type which are not novel and fiction, only those details should be given. So that means that I should show only text. Okay, type text. So I have written here, this is the answer which I am giving. We are not displaying the details of novel and fiction type. We are displaying other than novel and fiction, which you can see in the result. So how this works is, it goes to table books. There it goes to the attribute type and it searches for novel and fiction. Novel and fiction should not be in the result which I am searching, only if they are not present. Only the type, if it is not matching novel and fiction, only the details of those attribute you should show. You should show the result which the type should not be novel and fiction. Okay, the answer you can see. In the sense, it just says that if the books are not of type novel and fiction, show the result. If they are not novel and fiction, so show their details. That is what I have shown here. Seventh query, display book details. With author name starts with letter A. So it says that here, if I go to table, I have to show the book details. The author name should start with A. So when I see this attribute author name, you can see there are two authors whose name starts with alphabet A. Okay. Now we'll go and write the query for this. How do we write this? Select Okay, select all the details. So I'll write star. Okay, from which table? From books table. All these data are present in book table. Where author name, where author name should start with character A. So for this, I'll introduce a new operator which is called as like operator. We'll use a new operator called as like operator. It is used to search for a specified pattern in a column. So what pattern we are searching? We are searching for the pattern A. We are searching for the pattern A. And this like operator should be used in a where clause. We use this like operator in a where clause, and it is mainly used for searching a specified pattern in a column or in a attribute. Like, I'll use like pattern matching. It is mainly called as pattern matching. So which pattern I am matching? I am matching my author name should start with the alphabet A. After alphabet A, it can have any character. That is the reason I have used percentage. So what is the use of percentage? Means like is the operator. It says that author name should be like A. It should start with the pattern A. After A character, it can have any character, and percentage means of any length. Okay, I'll run and see how this works. It should show only two authors. Yes, see here. When you see author name in the result, it is A.W. Rosen and Anna Roberts. So it is working. We have used like operator, new operator, like operator. How this works is, you go to table, books, where you have to search the author name. Which author name should be displayed? His name should start with the character A. To do this, we have introduced a new operator called as like. Like is a operator used in where class to search for a specified pattern in a column or attribute. Okay, you can see the result down. In 8th query, they have asked you to display book details with author name starts with letter T and ends with letter S. It is just like a previous query. So I'll write select star, all the details. So star from books where author name, I'll use like operator only. The only difference is that there the author name should start with A. Here it should start with T. Okay. After that it can have any character, but it should end with the S character. So I have written it. We'll just run and see whether this works or not. No data found. The answer is no data found. How this is possible, we'll see. See, if you go to attribute, in a book table, if you go to attribute author name, there none of the author's name starts with T. None of the author's name starts with T. That is the reason it is showing no data found. That is the reason it is showing the result no data found. It is just like a previous query where we have used a like operator for pattern matching. They are asking you to find the author name whose name starts with T and ends with S. That is why I have used like operator. 9th query, they have asked you to select book ID, book name, author name, quantity issued, where books.books ID is equal to issued.book ID. Now I'll tell you, see here, they have asked you to find the book name, book ID, and then they have asked you to find the quantity issued. When I see this, the book name, book ID are present in books, whereas quantity issued is present in the table issued. That means that for this query, we have to make use of two tables. So when you are making use of two tables, what are the things you have to keep in your mind? I'll explain you now after writing the query. So first I'll write from books table. I'll give a alias name B, and then I'll use issued table. I need two tables, so I'm using this. Now I have to select. What are the things I have to select? I have to select book ID. book ID B dot book ID. B dot book ID. I will explain you after writing. Then B dot book name. Then B dot author name. Then I, quantity issued is present in issued table. So I will use quantity issued. Okay. And then the condition is they have given where B dot book ID should be equal to I dot book ID. We will run and book ID is common in both the table. So what I am doing here is books, in books table book ID is the primary key. While creating the table I have explained you. Whereas in issued table book ID is the foreign key. So that means that book ID of issued table is referencing the book ID of book table. Book ID of the book table. And now so to differentiate between the book ID of book table and book ID of a issued table, I am using alias names. Here books, I am using books as B and issued as I, which you can see clearly. With these alias names, I can differentiate between book ID of book table and book ID of issued table. This is the first thing. After that, the question is that if at all book ID of book table and book ID of issue table, if they both match, then you show their book ID, book name, author name and quantity issued. So if at all they are matching, their details will be displayed and which is working, which you can see in the answer. I have shown you here. So 10th query, list the book name, author name, price. Okay. In ascending order of book name and then on ascending order of price. So the question is there here is you have to display book name, author name and price. You have to display book name, author name and price. They have given two conditions. The one is that you have to sort the book name in ascending order and price in a descending order. We'll do that. To do that, select, what are the things you have to select? Book name, author name, then price. These are the things which you have to select. All these are present in which table? Books table. So from books. And the first condition is order in ascending order you have to arrange book name. So to do sorting we use a clause order by we used to sort the attribute. To sort the attribute we'll use order by clause. So first is book name. I have to arrange book name in a ascending order. So after that I have to arrange price in a descending order. Price D-E-S-C. How this works? Let's see. Yes, this works. How this works I tell you. First it goes to books table. Then it takes the book name and price. It takes books name and price. If I have made use of order by clause. This order by clause is to arrange the table, arrange the attributes in any order you want. So I want book name to be in a ascending order and price to be in a descending order. I have not mentioned ascending here. Why? Because if you apply order by clause, by default it takes in a ascending order. So I have not specified book name in ascending order. But I have specified descending for price because they have asked you to order price in a descending order. Sort price in a descending order. So what happens? I am displaying book name, author name and price. In that book name is ordered in a ascending order and price is sorted in a descending order. You can see it in the answer. That finishes all 10 queries of activity 3. In next session, we'll move to the next activity.